Welcome back, one and all, to the F1 2015 Pro Season Series here on BoxBoxBoxGaming. My name is Justin, and today we'll be taking part in the 56-lap race around the Shanghai International Circuit in China. Last time out, we qualified second after Lewis Hamilton failed to make it out of Q1, and then penalties for Rosberg ensured that we'll be starting today's race from pole position, believe it or not, as Fernando Alonso in 2014. Obviously, the Ferrari engine not the best in 2014, so quite surprising to be starting from pole position at a power circuit such as Shanghai. Taking a quick look at the driver standings, Nico Rosberg leading Lewis Hamilton 68-61. This is pretty much just for you guys that skipped over the qualifying video, as the qualifying video has all of this information in it already. Ferrari currently in fourth in the constructors standings with a 36-point gap to Williams ahead and a 17-point gap to McLaren behind, so it's looking pretty boring in that regard.
It's nearly 3 o'clock on Sunday afternoon here in Shanghai, and that means only one thing. It's time for the Chinese Grand Prix. After taking pole position yesterday, Fernando Alonso was in a confident mood when he was talking about a race victory. He said that as long as the car performs like it has all weekend, and if he manages his tyres well, he fancies his chance of adding another win to his already impressive record.
There are a lot of variables that can cause a driver to be happy with the car one day to struggling with it the next. Track temperature, excessive tyre wear, or a change of fuel load can all affect the feel of a car. He'll definitely be hoping that when the race gets underway, he's got the same balance as he enjoyed in qualifying.
It was a good win last time out for Lewis Hamilton, who will still be feeling buoyant going into today's race. He knows he's got the beating of the rest of the field as long as he doesn't hit any reliability issues with his Mercedes.
Well, Lewis can beat anyone on his day. His pace has been second to none at times. He just has a knack of finding those extra tenths which others can't. I'm expecting him to be particularly strong at the end of the stints today.
So here we are on the grid in our 2014 Ferrari, and as you can see, nobody is in front of us. I was really not expecting to be on the front row of the grid, what with the Mercedes pace in 2014, but honestly, I didn't even think I was going to be on the second row of the grid based on my pace in the practice sessions all this weekend. Taking a quick look at the strategy for this race, it looks like it's going to be option prime. Going to do about 17 or 18 laps on the options, followed by another 17 or 18 laps on the options, and then finally 21 or 22 laps on the primes. So that's the strategy. It is time for the race and time to see what we can do. It's a short run down to turn one, and I've been practicing my starts, so hopefully we won't lose as many positions as in recent races. We're in rich mix. We're revving the engine and the lights are out, and we're already on our way. And it looks like my best start of the season so far. We've already got the Red Bull of, I believe, Sebastian Vettel. Yeah, that is Sebastian Vettel on our right-hand side. Could see that number 1 on the car. And it does look like there may have been some action in the background there for those of you that were having a look at the mirrors. It does appear that something has gone on back there. We've got a Williams just behind me, and I don't imagine it's going to be too long before we see those Mercedes cars coming up behind us and looking to take advantage of that strong engine that they've got in the back of their cars. So going through the turn 6 hairpin there, and you can see we're already losing quite a bit of time to that Red Bull of Sebastian Vettel. The Red Bull obviously quite strong in 2014 despite the loss of power from the Renault power unit. The Red Bull was very strong aerodynamically, some would say a lot better than in 2015, or rather Renault made fewer gains in 2015 versus 2014 versus Ferrari and Mercedes. So the Red Bull pretty strong in this 2014 season, as we've got an oversteer there. That was in between turns 11 and 12, now going through the increasing radius corner of turn 13 as we come onto this very long back straight, the longest straight on the calendar, and we are definitely out of the slipstream of Vettel, or not getting much of a slipstream. And the Williams behind us, I believe that's Bottas. I believe Bottas is right upon us. I'm surprised he didn't make a move at the inside here on lap 1 as we're coming towards the end of this opening lap. That Red Bull's still just about within sight, but you can see it's probably about a 2-second gap already just after 1 lap. So we've already lost 1 position, and it's looking like we're probably going to lose another one to the Williams behind, as he's got a great slipstream actually, and he moves to the inside line actually, which I'm fine with. I'm fine with trying to shoot it around the outside, and can I get it all slowed down? We got team radio.
We're near the beginning of the race, so we're pretty heavy with fuel at the moment. The handling should improve as we burn some of it away.
And Bottas just taking that inside line at turn 2 and is able to take the position. You can see I was trying to fight back at the entrance there when it changed from a right-hand corner to a left-hand corner. I tried to shoot up the inside there, but unfortunately was not able to get that position back on Bottas, so he does move ahead of us. And look at that, already one of the Mercedes cars is right behind us. We've already dropped down into P3, and it looks like we're going to be losing our podium position here very soon, as we've got the Mercedes of, I believe, Nico Rosberg right behind us as we're going through the very long turn 8 there and into the double left-hander of turns 9 and 10. Again, running pretty close to this Williams. DRS and not activated yet, up into Rich Mix, and we've got the Mercedes all over the back of us. Is he going to make a move? He does not. He's going to stay behind for right now. And you'll notice I did the team radio graphic with Jeff, the picture of Jeff at the bottom right-hand corner. But I didn't bring it up for absolutely every single message. I don't mind if I talk over when he says that's Bottas ahead. Obviously, we know that's Bottas ahead, so that picture will not be popping up every time. But again, we've got the Mercedes right behind us, and once again, it does appear that he's going to stay behind, braking just before the 100-meter board down into second gear, taking a little bit of that inside curb and being very careful on the throttle coming out of that corner. And you can see that Williams already pulling away pretty significantly down into fourth gear for the final corner, and we're coming to the end of the second lap.
DRS is now enabled and will be available to use when you are within 1 second of the car ahead in the DRS zone.
Thank you, Jeff. That is crucial information. I had no idea that DRS activated on lap 3. That is great information to know. Oh, and there's been contact.
Okay, we're low on fuel. Try shifting up the gears a little sooner. This should help us save some fuel.
So Nico Rosberg actually coming at us at the inside of turn 2. I ran a little bit wide, took a little bit of a wider angle, or a wider angle through that corner, a wider line through that corner, and Nico Rosberg actually managed to sneak up the inside of us, and he nearly took a position off us, but we defended to the inside as it became a left-hand corner, and we were able to keep him at bay as it stands. And once again, coming out of that turn 6 hairpin, we were coming under pressure from him, but thankfully we got to turn 7 before he was able to pull alongside us or anything like that. Down into second gear for the double left-hander. That'll be third gear, I believe, as we lighten the load. Up into Rich Mix, and that Mercedes is very close. He moves to the inside line for turn 11. We're going to be going side by side. The DRS detection line is right there, and I am going to be getting DRS off of him. We're not side by side anymore. The Mercedes now pulling away as we come onto this straight. I am running 1-1 wings though, and I am going to get DRS, and I am in the slipstream, and I am in Rich Mix. And you look at this, I am closing up on the Mercedes car. Got the DRS open, swooping to the right-hand side, and that's already move done before we're even into the braking zone for the turn 14 hairpin, already back up into that third place position. So we are able to defend from the Mercedes. It does seem like he has really good top speed, and he's actually coming back at us at the outside for the final corner there at turn 16. He's run wide, and there's actually been contact with the McLaren just behind us as well. And we're going to have a little replay here and see exactly what happened at the beginning of this race, and also we're going to see the contact that Nico had with that Mercedes. So here is the start. You can see Kimi Räikkönen way down the order there. Lewis Hamilton right alongside him as well. We go 3 wide into turn 1, and Felipe Massa gets taken out by Sebastian Vettel. Sebastian Vettel takes the lead of this Grand Prix. Bottas slipping in just behind us. Just behind Bottas, the McLaren and Toro Rosso are going side by side, and I imagine the McLaren is going to come out on top with that inside line. And then the Mercedes of Nico Rosberg just behind them as well, looking like he might try and make a move on the Toro Rosso as they're heading into the hairpin, and no, he's going to stay in that sixth place position for now. And here we have an onboard shot of the start. I'm going to go ahead and be quiet for these onboard replays so you guys can enjoy this. So that's what the opening lap looked like for Fernando Alonso. Let's take a look and see what it looked like for Felipe Massa, or rather for the Williams guys. There's that contact actually between Massa and Ricardo. Massa trying up the inside again as we were 3 wide, and unfortunately that's just going to spin him way down into the back. And here's a replay now of the move that Bottas made on me as we're heading down towards turn 1. He grabs the inside line, and I try to hang it around the outside. And I'm able to do so just about. You can see nearly running off the circuit, very close. My front left wheel nearly running off the circuit there, and that's probably what allowed Bottas to take that position. If I managed to just stay side by side with him as that corner turned left, then I probably could have defended the position. But let's go ahead and let's have a look and see what that looked like from Bottas's point of view. Really nice move from Bottas there. You can see he got much better traction coming out of turn 4 there. And this is Nico Rosberg making the attempt. This time I defend the inside line as we're heading into turn 1, and he really just he had no answer for that until later on in the corner, where he really just gained lots of speed with that inside line on me. Again, I ran a little bit wide there, and we go side by side for a couple of corners before I'm able to edge him out at the exit of turn 4 and hang on to that 3rd place position. But for how long really is the question, because obviously these Mercedes cars very quick in 2014 as they are in 2015. Let's have a look on board now. And so this is where Nico was coming back at us. This is where we went side by side through turn 11, and we can see the McLaren just behind us, not far behind us, then the Toro Rosso, and then a pretty big gap actually. So we are pulling away. You can also see there's a little bit of damage to my side pod, my left side pod there. I think there might even be damage to my right side pod as well. I made a little bit of contact, as you saw earlier, with Nico Rosberg, and that's giving me a little bit of side pod damage. And here was me taking the position back again with the 1-1 wings and the Rich Mix and the DRS open. It was almost too easy as I just fly by Nico Rosberg, which was really unexpected. I was hoping to use the DRS and the slipstream from Nico Rosberg in order to help defend from the McLaren behind. And of course, he tries around the outside. He runs a little bit wide. He comes back on the circuit a bit dangerously, makes contact with that McLaren in the background. I believe that is Jenson Button, and he is moving very slowly as well and looking like he lost the position to a Toro Rosso as well. Let's have a look once again on board. First with Nico Hülkenberg, and then we'll switch to me, and then we'll switch to Jenson. So this is how all of that unfolded. And right about here is where you can see Jenson is not shifting. He's not even really accelerating, and he comes into turn 1, and he drops it down to 3rd gear. He's going barely 100 kilometers per hour. Lewis Hamilton, in the meanwhile, is way at the back. He's stuck behind a Marussia and a Lotus, and he's going side by side with another Marussia. So the Marussia is really putting up a serious fight. They started pretty high up the grid as a result of all the penalties, as did Kamui Kobayashi. And there is Jenson Button with his flat tire, and here comes Lewis Hamilton. Both of the Marussias take advantage of the situation, get by Lewis Hamilton and that Lotus car, and then Lewis just slams into the back of his compatriot, and Jenson Button is just really struggling now, as if being hit by one Mercedes car wasn't enough. He's been hit by a second Mercedes car, and he's dropping right down the order. You can see him, he's accelerating now towards turn 7, and then he just has no grip whatsoever. I assume he's got some, probably a rear right puncture, and he's in last place now.
Okay, we should be good on tyres for a while. The wear doesn't seem too bad at the moment. Just take care when you load them up.
So here we are on lap 4. Not much time has passed since we saw that incident with Jensen Button.
First place.
And Vettel is in first place as it stands right now. Nico Rosberg has yet to get by me. We are still in third position with Bottas and Vettel ahead of us. Nico Rosberg, he was behind us. I believe he's on our left-hand side now. He's going around the outside now at turn 13 and then just kind of backs out of it. Really, really mysterious there. I thought that was very strange. I thought he pretty much had the move made at that point. He does have DRS now, though, so we are going to move to the right-hand side of the track to avoid giving him the slipstream. The Toro Rosso behind both of us he's got the better run through the final corner, and he got the DRS, and it looks like he's actually made the move on Rosberg, so I believe that's Kvyat, if I'm not mistaken. We will get confirmation about that, but Kvyat makes the move on Rosberg. Rosberg dropping down into 5th position here on lap 4. Very surprising stuff, as we are going to get a replay of that, and I believe Kvyat has the yellow T-Cam in 2014, and that is the yellow T-Cam right behind us, so I do believe that is Daniil Kvyat. And again, as I mentioned before, quite a large gap between Kvyat and the rest of the field, so I'm not sure if that has to do with Jensen's issues and the flat tire. He maybe slowed some people down, but again, this is me defending from Nico Rosberg as he's got the DRS, and I believe we're going to switch to a camera angle where you guys can see the Toro Rosso overtaking him, or we're going to get another replay. I think we're going to get a second replay, so yeah, it was pretty straightforward for me. I just, I moved to the right-hand side. So here we are on board with Nico Rosberg. He grabs the inside line for turn 11 here, but I hang it around the outside. I'm defending tooth and nail. I really don't want to give up this position. I would love to get a podium here in China. That would be fantastic. And there he goes around the outside, and then he just lifts off. I mean, it was his corner at that point. He pretty much could have done whatever he wanted to, and I guess he decided to lift up. And you look in the rearview mirror there is the Toro Rosso of Daniil Kvyat closing very quickly on the Mercedes. He's in 8th gear. He's going 350 kilometers per hour as they go into the braking zone. You can see he nearly has a look at me, Daniil Kvyat, almost grabbing 2 positions in one corner off of a Mercedes and a Ferrari. Fantastic stuff from the Russian driver. But there he is behind us. We are on lap 5 now, coming onto the very long DRS straight. He's got the Mercedes just behind him and a pretty large gap to me up ahead. I believe he's going to have DRS, but not much of a slipstream. They're already side by side before DRS is even activated, and I think that's the Mercedes up and back up into 4th position as we come into the braking zone now for the turn 14 hairpin, and the Mercedes is up ahead. So Nico Rosberg back into 4th place, and hopefully his tires are a little bit worse off than they were when he was trying to attack me previously, and hopefully that'll give me a little bit of an edge on him. Coming through the final corner, team radio.
Bottas is drawing out a small lead on you. He's a full second faster per lap.
So even with the 1-1 wings, Bottas a second a lap faster, and there goes Nico Rosberg around the outside, very similar to the move that he tried to do at turns 12 and 13 just 1 lap ago, but this time he's going to have the inside line for this left-hander. I had the inside line last time, and I tried to hang it around the outside, and it's just not happening. The Mercedes, with just the superior traction coming out of the low-speed corners, just makes quick work of me, and he's up into that podium position now and free to chase after the Williams of Bottas. And now I need to, team radio. And that is literally what I was just about to say. I've now got to defend from Daniil Kvyat, who does seem to have incredible pace in this race. Once again, just look at the size of the gap behind. Interestingly enough, I believe that's a Sauber behind him. But as I mentioned, Nico Rosberg just shoots around the outside at turn 1. I'm defending and defending. I'm down into 2nd gear. I'm in the grass a little bit. But then he just gets the inside line for that next left-hander. And as I mentioned, just makes quick work of me. Very easy maneuver for him in the end. No contact made, though. Very clean racing from the AI. Very happy to see that, and really enjoying this race already. And we're not even 10% of the way, or we're about 10% of the way through the race. So here's the onboard shot of Nico Rosberg first getting by Daniil Kvyat and then getting by Fernando Alonso. And again, just that superior traction from the Mercedes, really showing how much faster that car is. Even, you know, with the 1-1 wings will help your top, oh gosh, I've gone very wide.
Rosberg's really going for it. He's just put in the best lap of the race so far.
And I've gone very wide at the final corner, turn 16. Daniil Kvyat has gotten by us, and look at that, he just shuts the door on us, but then leaves a gap, and I go for it. So now I'm up his inside, and I'm going to see if I can maybe take the position around the outside of the left-hander, and he's already given up, actually. So I have taken the position back, but really ran very, very wide.
That's P4. You're into P4.
Very wide through the final corner. That allowed Kvyat to come back at us with the DRS on the long run down towards turn 1. Not quite as long as the main straight, but it's pretty darn close, actually. A lot of people don't realize that it's a very similar length between the final corner and the first corner as it is between turns 13 and 14. So he had lots of time to get by us. And as I was trying to say before, the 1-1 wings really helps with top speed. It sort of helps with acceleration, but more so at higher speed. 1-1 wings is going to do absolutely nothing for your low speed acceleration in like first, second, third, and even fourth gear, I would say. Really, fifth gear and up is really where you're going to see the benefit of 1-1 wings as far as acceleration is concerned. It's very important to remember that. Let's have a look on board with Daniil Kvyat and see exactly what happened there from his point of view. Wow. Wow. And that is some incredibly close racing. As I mentioned, he just shut the door on us. Very, very close to making contact with us, but very well played from the Toro Rosso driver team radio.
Okay, on the monitors we can see that you're locking your rear brakes. It might be a good idea to move your brake balance forward.
You know, and then you lock your front tire, you know, the next corner, and he's like, you might want to move your brake bias rearward.
We're expecting the tire grip to start falling off noticeably around now, but this set should be okay for a while longer despite that.
Yeah, I thought that was a bit of a strange message. Oh, more.
Around 80 kilos of fuel left in the tank. 80 kilos. We have slightly more fuel than is optimal. Slightly overloaded on fuel.
So early in the... Oh, and I've had a big oversteer moment coming out of turn 14 there. That was a big one. I was lucky to save that. I really was lucky to keep it out of the barrier, keep it out of the grass. More team radio.
Pit window opens in 5 laps time. 5 laps.
So...
Activate options on your next stop. We still have 45 laps to complete.
So they wanted us to do 17 or 18 laps on this set of options. So that means the pit window is opening at the end of lap 17. And here we have another Mercedes behind us. I do believe this is the Mercedes of Lewis Hamilton, who started way down the field, but has already caught up to us here on lap 12. And he's in the slipstream as well. He definitely was in DRS range, if I'm not mistaken. So he's going to have the DRS open now, getting the slipstream from us as well. We're defending as well as we can. And surprisingly enough, with that straight line speed from the 1-1 wings, we are able to keep him behind. And that is, in fact, number 44, just behind us, Lewis Hamilton, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure that says 44. But here we are going through the final corner. Lewis tries it around the outside, but he's gone very, very wide, nearly runs off the circuit. In fact, does run off the circuit a little bit and has to give that position back. Otherwise, it would have been some sort of penalty, I assume, as we drop down into lean mix. We did get a message just a minute ago from Jeff telling us that we have extra fuel, excess fuel on board.
The car behind is on standard revs. Car behind is running standard revs.
Yep, he's running standard revs, and he's also about a meter behind me. Lewis Hamilton just riding my gearbox here on lap 13, going through turn 12 now, accelerating. Very difficult to put the power down, especially with these worn option tires on 80 kilos of fuel as well. And you can see Lewis Hamilton, with that superior grip in the Mercedes car, has just come straight back at us. He's got the DRS. He's already ahead of us, but look at this. We're coming back at him. We're side by side as we head into the final corner, braking ever so slightly later than Lewis and going around the outside, forcing him to take an awkward line, get a little bit of wheel spin coming out of that low-speed hairpin. We're going to have the inside line through the final corner. Can we hold him off, force him to go wide once again? And yes, we do. And we hang on to that fourth place position. But as with Nico Rosberg, how much longer can we truly truly keep the Mercedes behind us. Lewis Hamilton is a man on a mission right now, and he is, it's only going to be a matter of time before he gets us. Certainly, only 14 laps in this race. There's no way we're going to be able to keep him behind for 42 more laps, unless he's on some sort of alternate strategy, like a 3-stop strategy. And even then, with the clear air after pitting, I'm sure he's just going to end up being in front of us when we come out of the pits the final time. So here we are on board with myself, as I mentioned, just side by side. Even though Lewis has the DRS open and the more powerful engine, we're actually able to claw back a little bit of time. There's some contact there between us, actually, as Lewis has a hard time getting on the power coming out of that low-speed hairpin. And there we go, side by side through the final corner. Lewis runs wide, and I hang on to that position for now anyway. Unbelievable. And I managed to get DRS, which was nice. So here we are. We're going to have a look at it from onboard from the T-Cam. Hey, you can see how early I brake when going side by side into that final corner, because I mean it's so difficult to go side by side through there. So I try to be as kind as I can to the AI, really. Oh, I'm sorry, that was lap 13. That wasn't even lap 14. Now we're on lap 14 here. Once again, the Mercedes is right behind us. He's definitely getting a nice slipstream off of us. We're even going down to lean. So down to 75 kilos of fuel. I don't know why they bother saying the percent, because it's 100 kilos that you start with. So it's 75 kilos of fuel remaining, and Lewis Hamilton has managed to get right by us. No problem that time. Really just not much I could do, team radio.
We're 2 laps away from the next round of stops. We're going to fit the option tyre.
So that's not entirely accurate.
Quick word on the tyres. They look okay for now, but we can see the wear. If you can't feel it already, then you'll certainly start too soon. Just be careful.
Thank you, Jeff. I'm being very careful, I promise. And you can see we've actually closed up on Lewis. We got DRS down the start-finish straight, and we are back up into rich mix now and getting a little bit of a slipstream as we head into the turn 6 hairpin. But you're going to see in a moment here, again, that low-speed traction. No, I'm sorry, we cut away. But here is a replay of what I think is possibly one of the best defenses I've ever put up against an AI. Oh no, I'm sorry, we already saw that replay. That was incredible, by the way. I couldn't believe that I was actually able to come back at Lewis under braking for that turn 14 hairpin on lap 13. That was incredible. But again, too easy for Lewis, really, here on lap 14 as he gets the slipstream, he gets the DRS open, he gets the inside line for the final corner. You can see he's actually already pretty much past me as we get into the braking zone. Just no chance of me shooting it around the outside that time. So I tried a little bit of a switchback, but you can see that failed miserably. So let's go ahead and have a peek and see what that looked like on the T-Cam. And he just made it look easy. So here we are on lap 16, and we've got a Williams behind us now, as if this isn't going badly enough. We've already lost 3 positions. Or no, actually 4 positions. We lost 4 positions. We lost one to Vettel at the start of the race, then we lost one to Bottas, and then both Mercedes have gotten by us. One of those 4 cars has pit already, so we're back up into P4, but we're in a net P5. And here comes Felipe Massa around the to the inside line now, under braking for the hairpin. And can I do the same thing that I've done, that I did to Lewis Hamilton? And no, I can't. He's just got so much more grip with the inside line for that corner. I did run quite a bit deep through there as well. So I put it up into rich mix now. I'm going to try and come back at him, but just look at the extra grip he's got coming through turn 16, team radio.
Okay, the pit window has opened. Pit window now open for you.
So pit window is open now. And I'm going to tell him that I'm going to box this lap as soon as I can. Turn 1 and 2 is not a great place to try and talk to Jeff there. And so I tried to fight back at Felipe Massa, but that Williams car is just so much faster in 2014 compared to the Ferrari, and I'm just not talented enough as well. So there it is from Jeff. He says, copy, as I tell him we are going to box this lap here on lap 17, and here's a nice helicopter shot. I've been trying to show these off in all of the episodes because I really do enjoy them. And there is Felipe Massa in the slipstream as we're running down towards turn 11. He opts to stay behind me as we go across the DRS detection line there. And you can see I'm holding a little bit of a tighter line than him. He runs out a little bit wide, but just look how easily he sticks with me. Going through the corner, unbelievable grip from the Williams, and he hasn't stopped yet. So he is also on 16-lap-old option tires, and just a straight line speed with that DRS as well. And then what you're going to see is you're going to see me outbrake myself in my attempt to come back at him and try and defend. I run pretty deep, and that just allows him to close the door on me and take that position. And then really there was nothing I could do with how much faster that Williams was.
Okay, we now have 70 kilograms of fuel remaining. That's 70 kilograms.
So
a small amount of extra fuel.
Sorry, I'm still talking over Jeff, even with that picture there. That means we've used 30% of our fuel.
Okay, our tyres are going to hit the cliff pretty soon. It may be prudent to do something about that before we completely destroy them.
Dude, I told you a minute ago that I'm coming into the pits this lap to box for tires. I told you. You said copy and everything. Stop drinking, Jeff. Stop drinking on the job. So that's a Mercedes going ahead of us, and I do believe we held up that Mercedes in the pit lane, actually. And if I'm not mistaken, that is Lewis Hamilton, who is on the same strategy as us, as it appears.
Only one stop to go. One stop left in this strategy.
And I'm stuck in second gear! Thanks, Codemasters! Thanks for keeping me in second gear on the run down towards turn 2. So now I've lost a position to Daniil Kvyat in the Toro Rosso, who I was battling with before. He made an early pit stop. It does seem that he is on a 3-stop strategy. But right now, I am pissed, which is why I'm getting wheel spin coming out of 4th gear there. These option tires quite cold.
You're faster through sector 1, faster than the car ahead through sector 1.
How would you know that, Jeff? I just came out of the pits. How could you possibly know that, Jeff? Swear to God, he's just lying to me. He's just making stuff up now. But again, I am pissed. I am completely enraged right now that the bug coming out of the pits has lost me a position to Daniil Kvyat. I'm down into P6 now, and Kimi Räikkönen is right freaking behind me. So I'm barely beating my teammate at this stage in the race. And again, I'm furious. So I brake very, very late, just about getting the apex for turn 11 there. I've definitely got DRS off of this Toro Rosso. His tire is already 6 or 7 laps old at this stage in the race. I've got the slipstream on him. I'm already gaining. As I mentioned, just the fury of 1,000 suns burns within me. And there I go, just flying by him like he didn't even exist on the track. And that was sort of, that was an overtake that happened as a result of the passion and the rage that was fueling me. I said, hell no, Toro Rosso. That's my P5. Bitch. I took it back. You can see a big corner cut there at turn 16 is obviously this is my out lap on a fresh set of options with 70 kilos of fuel. So I'm getting quite a bit more grip than I expected, which is why I had that corner cut there. I really don't think I gained too much time. I think because I wasn't going very slow as I went across that corner cut. Or I was going pretty slow. Did I say that right? Anyway, I could have carried way more speed through that corner if I had taken the proper racing line. But again, very straightforward move here on Daniil Kvyat, which is interesting, considering... Wait, did they have the Ferrari in 2014 engine? Ferrari engine in 2014? I don't remember now. I feel like they had already made the switch to Renault. In fact, yeah, I'm pretty certain they had already made the switch to Renault. So, getting by the Red Bull sister team of Toro Rosso, there's that giant corner cut. Again, I definitely could have carried more speed through there, so I don't believe I gained too much time. And Kimi Räikkönen just behind Daniil Kvyat now, so there's a little bit of a gap between us. I need to try and maximize that as much as I can. But no, Kimi's already shot up the inside at turn 1 on Daniil Kvyat, and you can see in the background there, he has already taken that position and is now free to pressure the hell out of me. So skipping ahead now to lap 27, Kimi Räikkönen is finally out of my mirrors. I haven't done it in the past, but I do encourage you guys to actually take a look at the full race if you're interested in seeing me trying to keep Kimi behind, because it lasted for quite a while. And I've made contact with the Williams ahead of me. That's Valtteri Bottas. There's been contact between us. He's moving very, very slowly through turn 2 there, and I've slammed into the back of him. I don't think I've lost too much wing. I mean, he just came out of the pits, Jeff! He just came out of the pits, Jeff! How can you know that?
The car ahead has come in and fitted the option tyre. They fitted the option tyres.
Yeah, man, I'm on 10-lap-old options here, and I've got Valtteri Bottas in front of me with fresh options. You're trying to tell me I'm faster than him?
Spurs out in front.
My God, Jeff. My God. You and me are going to have a sit-down later after this race, and we're going to discuss your alcoholism. So, I believe... Oh, God, Jeff.
Right tyre situation. We're good for the time being, but you are going to start to notice the wear, so make sure it doesn't catch you out.
Yeah. It's been 10 laps. It was about 10 or 11 laps when he gave me that message last time in the first option stint. And you can see we did get DRS off the Williams, but I mean, just nothing. There's nothing. There's nothing that could be done. I mean, just look at the gap.
50 kilograms of fuel remaining. There's 50 kilos of fuel left.
So he says 50 kilos, and I'm like, wait, what? Are we halfway through the race? Did I do 28 laps already? So this is where the part of the video where I like to check to see what lap it is, because there's no way to find out what lap number it is without pausing this game, which I have specifically mentioned to the official Formula 1 game Twitter account, that I would love to have a way to find out what lap number it is without having to pause the race, because I do try to avoid pausing the race, because that's not realistic. I know I said when this series first started that I was probably going to have to pause the race partway through, take a little break, stuff like that. I actually have found that that is not the case. And that's because, oh, and there's the replay of the contact between myself and Valtteri Bottas. So you can see there actually is damage to the front of my Ferrari wing. There is a big chunk missing right in the middle. And thankfully, I don't think that's going to be affecting the downforce too much. In fact, it may not be affecting the downforce at all. At the time, I really didn't notice the car felt any better. But, you know, I'm not a world-class driver, so maybe I was a tenth or two slower than I should have been as a result of it. But once again, skipping ahead.
Right, our current set of rubber is looking a bit worse for wear at this point. It's not going to be long before it falls away from us completely. Stay alert.
So we are going to be looking to box for our set of the primes around lap 34 or 35. And we've got the Red Bull of Daniel Ricciardo right behind us. Obviously, Sebastian Vettel is way up the road as he took the lead of this race. And Rosberg's now leading, of course. I'm not sure if Hamilton's managed to get by Vettel yet. But Ricciardo is all over the back of us. And he is pushing very hard here on lap 32 of this race as we're going through turns 11 and 12 now. He's definitely going to get DRS. He's extremely close to us as we're going up through the gears through turn 13. I believe we're in rich mix, doing our best to try and defend from this Red Bull behind us. Thankfully, though, that Renault engine and the high downforce package that he seems to have on that car is making it very difficult for him to get by. As you can see, just before we go underneath that Fly Emirates bridge? No. Advertisement? Yeah, it's just a banner. He actually lifted off, so he was closing, and then he lifted and just kind of gave up. Here we are going through the final corner now, though. He's going to get DRS once again on the run down towards turn 1. He's in that slipstream, but it does appear that he's too far back for right now to do anything about it. So we are going to, for the meantime, hang on to our P5 position, which I believe is actually... Yes, we are actually in P5. The two Williams are ahead of us. The two Mercedes are ahead of us. No, and the Vettel. So actually, we are in a net P6 right now.
Pit window opens next lap. I'll send you out on primes next stop. 24 laps to go.
So Ricciardo to our inside now, and I squeezed him a little bit to the right-hand side there. I'm sure a lot of you guys with keen eyes would have noticed that. I squeezed him a little bit to the right-hand side to try and get him to brake as early as I possibly could, and I was able to defend the position. Even though he had the DRS in the inside line for turn 14, was able to hold him off for the time being. But obviously, lots of laps still left in this race. Jeff just telling us just then, it's about 24 laps left in this race, I do believe. And there we are coming through turn 13 onto the very long straight. And I'm in that rich mix. DRS is not open until now. and then the Red Bull get the DRS. He moves out of the slipstream, grabs that inside line. There's my move to the right-hand side. I'm squeezing him, and then I move back over onto the racing line, which hinders his line at the inside there, does it for Daniel Ricciardo, and I am able to hang on to that position. Skipping ahead now to lap 34. This is my pit window's open.
You need to pit in this lap.
And Jeff is saying straight up, you need to pit this lap. Which is an interesting message, but if I remember correctly, my wheels were pretty much falling off at this point. The tires were feeling pretty bad. As you can see, just understeering my way through turn 13 there heavily, and I tell him I am, in fact, going to box this lap. I'm up at a rich mix right now. Red Bull is still right behind me.
Here's the current fuel level. We have 40 kilos remaining. 40 kilos.
So 40 kilos should be enough for 5.6 times 4. So that should be enough for 23 laps, and we only need to do 22, so we got about a lap extra worth of fuel as it stands right now. Both myself and Daniel Ricciardo diving into the pit lane now from our P5 and P6 positions. There's the Ferrari garage. I believe it's the third one. The third garage is the Ferrari garage. Daniel Ricciardo is in his pit box, and actually it looks like it's been a much quicker stop, so the Ferrari guys doing a fantastic job of getting their champion Fernando Alonso out in front of Daniel Ricciardo and with a little bit of a gap.
That was our last stop. No more scheduled pit stops.
And one of the Force Indias goes flying by us as we're coming out of the pits. Thankfully, no second gear glitch that time as we came out of the pits. We were able to get it up into third gear and accelerate towards turn 1, but that is definitely a Force India ahead of us. And I'm not sure if that Force India is still to make a stop or if they somehow jumped us in the pit stop phase. We're in P8 at the moment, so I've got to hope that there's at least a couple of cars ahead of us that actually have yet to pit. But here we are coming towards the tail end of lap 39. I have closed up onto the back of this Force India, but he's been holding me up in the middle sector, and that's allowed Daniel Ricciardo to once again close up on the back of me. Daniel Ricciardo will just not leave me alone. DRS is open now in the slipstream, and with that low downforce setup, I'm able to breeze by that Force India, braking around 100 meters down into second gear. Pretty low on fuel as it stands right now, so the braking zone becoming later and later as we burn off that fuel and are able to stop the car a little bit more efficiently through the final corner, and the Force India does pit, so I didn't even need to get by him, but it was crucial that I do.
Massa has just turned into the pits. Massa pitting.
So that's a strange one. He says Massa into the pits, Massa pitting. I assume that means he's in his box right now, because I was halfway down the pit straight, 3/4 of the way down the pit straight.
Try to warm up the brakes. Brake hard in the next few corners.
My God, Jeff is such a chatty Cathy today. He just won't shut up. But we are coming towards the tail end. Obviously, this is the final stint. We're on the prime tires, as you can see. The Force India there of... Is that Sergio Perez? I think that's Sergio Perez. That is Sergio Perez. Force India of Sergio Perez getting a little bit out of shape as he was coming out of turn 10. Obviously, he's on pretty worn option tires at this stage of the race, and I'm in that slipstream. As I mentioned, Daniel Ricciardo is just harassing me. Like, I feel like I need to file a complaint or something. He just will not leave me alone. He's got the DRS open, and he's in the slipstream of the Force India right now, but it doesn't look like he's going to make a move. So I was actually quite glad at this point. I said, oh, good, you know, the Force India held me up, but now he's going to hold up Ricciardo. So Ricciardo is going to be held up just as much as I was, and then, of course, the Force India dives into the pits. So basically all that Force India did, all Sergio Perez did, was allow Daniel Ricciardo to catch up to me again. Which is pretty frustrating. So here we are trying to lap the first of the back marker cars, which I was surprised about. We're on lap 42 now. I still have Daniel Ricciardo right behind me, and we're just now beginning to lap the back marker cars, as I believe that was Max Chilton, if I'm not mistaken, because that was the yellow T-cam there. And Max Chilton is defending the inside line from Daniel Ricciardo. Wow. That's pretty intense, dude. Pretty intense. Once again, though, the back marker does seem to have team radio.
3/10 faster than Bottas with that last lap. You increased your lead over Ricciardo by around 3/10 last lap.
So I was 3/10 faster than both Bottas and Ricciardo last lap. Ricciardo, we know, got held up a little bit by the Marussia. So I got to assume that the same thing happened to Bottas, because he was way faster than me. So unless something horrible has happened to him, I can't imagine that we're actually catching up to him. here we are once again trying to lap a Sauber now. And I can't tell what... is that the yellow? I don't know who it is, honestly. I was not a fan of Sauber in 2014. I'm not a fan of Adrian Sutil. And honestly, I'm not that big a fan of Esteban Gutierrez. I think they're both, you know, good guys and stuff. I got nothing against them personally. But I'm really not surprised to see that both of them are out of F1 at this point. And I would be a little disappointed if Haas F1 team ended up picking up Gutierrez, because I really don't think he's got the I don't think he's got the talent for it. I mean, I hate to say it, but and it's not like Haas needs money, so I hope they don't go for Gutierrez. But you can see there, I'm trying to lap this freaking Sauber, and he's just going side by side with me. He just will not let me through, and this is one of my biggest complaints with this game. They've developed an incredible AI that's actually capable of doing side-by-side racing. I've been overtaken at the outside of corners, the inside of corners. I've had AI doing the switchback on me. You know, if you can think of it, the AI are probably capable of doing it. As I give them a little nudge there, I actually make a little bit of contact with the Sauber there as I'm trying to get by him, just to say, hey man, screw you. Next time, let me through, and I won't have to run into you. And you can see he's going side by side with Daniel Ricciardo through the final corner, man. Like, this AI does not respect blue flags. They have no respect for blue flags whatsoever. And get this, there's no penalty system for ignoring blue flags. In real F1, you will get a penalty for ignoring blue flags. There is no penalty for ignoring blue flags in this game. No penalty system whatsoever for ignoring blue flags. That goes for the AI and for the players, though. So for you guys that watch this series who also play F1 2015, if you see a blue flag being waved in your face, just tell them to screw themselves, and you just block them. You just block them, because they would do the exact same to you. They would do it in a heartbeat. So, yeah, screw the AI. These guys need to learn how to understand blue flags. We got some more. And they're battling up ahead of us. We got the other Sauber and one of the Lotus cars doing battle just ahead of us. What is worse than one car ignoring blue flags? Oh, well, of course, it's two cars ignoring blue flags. And it's even worse when they're actually battling, because they somehow think that their battle takes priority over my battle. You can see I could barely even close up on that Lotus there as he was getting DRS off the Sauber. The Saubers, by the way, in this race, incredible straight line speed. Incredible straight line speed. Unbelievable straight line speed. If they weren't running 1-1 wings, then I have, you know, they're hacking. I mean, that's all that it can be. So I do finally get by the Lotus, or do I? I think I got by the Lotus, and then he comes back, tries to come back at me at the outside, and I get a little bit greedy there, and I say screw it, I'm gonna go for this Sauber too, and I try to go up the inside of him, but got a little bit out of shape and ran off the circuit a little bit. But we did get ahead of the Lotus, and Daniel Ricciardo did not. So thankfully, we have a nice Lotus-sized gap between myself and the Australian. Here is the replay of me trying to, again, lap this Lotus, trying to lap him. And look at him, look at him. He just sticks it around the outside. And then the Sauber, he's like, oh, I'm sorry, Fernando. Are you in the middle of a race? I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I'm racing too. Of course, for me, it's only lap 47, but, you know, that doesn't matter, right? Sure. Anyway, so we're behind the Sauber now. The Lotus is behind us. Daniel Ricciardo going side by side with the Lotus. In our rearview mirror, we can see we're in Rich Mix. We've got the DRS open. We're in the slipstream, and we still can't get by this Sauber. This is getting really annoying now. So I'm getting desperate at this point, especially because Daniel Ricciardo has managed to jump that Lotus behind us. So I am desperate now to get by this Sauber. I cannot do another lap behind this guy.
You're losing 3 seconds a lap to Bottas.
Yeah. Why do you think that is, Jeff? Why do you think that is, Jeff? Why do you think we're losing 3 seconds to Bottas? Do you think that maybe it has to do with the Sauber and the Lotus blocking me? Do you think it has something to do with that? I don't know. It could. It might.
Fuel level is now 15 kilos. There are 15 kilos of fuel remaining.
So 15 kilos would be 5.6 kilos times 1.5, which would be 2.8 plus 5.6. 8.4 laps. So we've got 8.4 laps of fuel and only 7 laps to complete. So the good news is we are above or ahead of target for when it comes to fuel consumption. And there is the replay of us finally getting by that freaking Sauber, who he can go screw himself, whoever he is. I hope he just... I hope his engine exploded right after I got by him. So here we are on lap 52 now. Daniel Ricciardo still right behind us, still harassing us, and now Massa, who is three-stopping, the three-stopping Massa is right behind Ricciardo. I moved to the right-hand side, that way Ricciardo doesn't get the slipstream off of me, but just look at the Williams.
Okay, the incident has been cleared. Let's get back up to racing speed.
I don't know what incident you're talking about, Jeff. It's been green flags the whole time. I don't know what you're talking about, man. But Felipe Massa has gotten past Daniel Ricciardo, and I'm going to be totally honest right now. I got a little bit confused. I think I had a senior moment here or something, because what you're going to see, I believe, at some point here is that I actually had blue flags being waved at me. You know, I didn't let this Williams by, but at the same time, I didn't defend it as much as I probably should have. But you could see there, I mean, he was a car length behind me as we were coming out of turn 13. I really don't think that there was anything I could have done about this. So even if I had defended fiercely against Massa here, I'm pretty sure he was going to get by me. So after being in P5 for a long time and thinking that I was actually going to score double-digit points, we are passed by Felipe Massa, and with only 3 laps remaining in the race. Which was pretty demoralizing. I was pretty upset about that. You can see we're coming back at him. We got the DRS open. We're in the slipstream. We're closing on him pretty significantly here through turns 1 and 2, despite the fact that the Williams has much fresher tires. Just look at the extra grip we have as we come into the apex there at turn 2. Once again, the apex of turn 3, very close behind him, but then there's that low-speed traction that the Williams and Mercedes just seem to have, or the AI just seems to have. I might just be shit out of the low-speed corners. Team radio. Oh my god, Jeff. Jeff, he just passed me, and he made it look so easy. What do you... Oh my god. I realize I closed up on him a little bit through Sector 1, but still. Give it a rest, Jeff. If you're going to talk to me in the corners, at least make it worthwhile information. So the Williams is just ahead of us, and there's actually some traffic up ahead, so I'm not giving up just yet on that P5 position. A little bit of wheel spin as we're going through turn 10 there. Daniel Ricciardo a little bit behind. It's looking pretty strong that we'll be able to keep him behind for at least this lap. Taking a lot of that inside curb at turn 11, now through turn 12. Lots of understeer actually coming in through there. Short shifting through the gears, not through 4th gear there actually though. Pretty much flat out at, once I hit 4th gear. In the slipstream of the Williams, Daniel Ricciardo quite a ways behind, in fact. We do get DRS. Yes, DRS wing is open. We're not really gaining on the Williams, though. As I mentioned, the straight line speed of the Williams cars is fantastic. Even with the 1-1 wings on this Ferrari, really just can't compete.
Vettel has just posted the fastest lap of the race so far.
So Vettel is flying right now. Vettel going very fast. Fastest lap of the race so far. He must be on a fresh set of the option tires.
Massa's lapping a second faster than you. Massa 1 second faster last lap.
Oh, you should... Do you want to...
You increased your lead over Ricciardo by around 3/10 last lap.
You don't want to tell me to attack Massa? You don't think maybe I can get him? You don't want to give me another... Oh.
There's just 5% of our initial fuel load left over. 5%.
Oh my god, Jeff. My god, Jeff. And so I just want to take a quick look. He's saying 5%. I'm like, oh god, that's a really low number. Please tell me I'm like on lap 55 or something. Obviously, I don't have the overlay at the top when I'm racing. I have no idea what lap number it is. So I do find out that I have just 2 laps remaining in this race. 5% of 100 kilos is obviously 5 kilos.
You're just ahead of Ricciardo. Push it. Don't let him catch you.
Oh man, Jeff. What do you think I'm doing? That's a pretty useless message. Not to mention, Ricciardo's been behind me for like the last 500 laps in a row now, just harassing me non-stop, lap after lap after lap after lap. I mean, it's unbelievable what Ricciardo has put me through. By the way, I didn't include all of that in this video. Again, oh jeez, Jeff. Again, if you guys want to see the whole me defending from Ricciardo thing in its full entirety, make sure you check out the video. Always, we've gotten a huge oversteer moment. Jeff, not right now, Jeff. Now is not the time, Jeff. Ricciardo has gotten by us. We're heading down to the back straight, but he's lifted off for some mysterious reason. We're off the circuit. We're trying to get him to give us some room. We're coming back at him. I'm pretty sure he's going to have the DRS. His DRS is certainly open now as we're in 8th gear, hitting top speed, and look at that. We're just pulling away from the Red Bull at this point. I'm starting to think even maybe he's in lean mix. That's what I'm starting to think, that he might be in fuel conservation mode because he spent so many laps attacking us, because that's the only way I could possibly explain how I'm able to pass him back in a straight line when he has DRS and track position already. I wasn't even getting a slipstream from him. I mean, I was side by side with him the whole time, so I never had the benefit of a slipstream or anything. But here we are on the final lap of this race. One of the Mercedes has already finished, so I mean, we were pretty darn close to getting lapped there, even though both Mercedes cars started outside of the top 10. We've got an incredible group of traffic in front of us. There's a Caterham, a Marussia, and a Force India all in front of us. Felipe Massa has managed to go past all of them pretty easily. This Caterham here, who I believe was actually Kamui Kobayashi, has just no brakes whatsoever. And nope, that's Ericsson. And he's going to fight us. He's going to fight us side by side through turn 7. Of course he's going to fight us. Why would I expect anything else? And the Marussia going very slowly behind this Force India through turn 8, and I decide I want to try to go side by side with him, but he actually hangs it around the outside, because why the hell not? It's not like he has blue flags being waved in front of him or anything like that. The only saving grace about this entire scenario is that Ricciardo is now stuck behind the Caterham. Put the pressure on him from 5 seconds behind on the final lap of the race. My God, Jeff, you really need to seek professional help. I mean, you know what? You're fired. You're fired, Jeff. I mean, that's it. That's the final straw. You want me to pressure Massa from 5 seconds behind on the final lap of the race? I mean, I don't even know how to respond to that. I really, other than by saying you're fired. I mean, that's really the best I can come up with. So Daniel Ricciardo has managed to finally get by Marcus Ericsson, who, though, continues to be a dick and tries to fight back at Ricciardo on the run down to the final corner. We're still behind this Marussia, who never did let us by. We get the DRS off of that Marussia, and it's a short run down to the line, and we are going to come home in that 6th place position, which is our best finish of the season so far. We've improved with every single race that has gone by. Every single race we have improved our finishing position. Our qualifying suffered in Malaysia. We've qualified pretty well in Australia. Then our qualifying suffered in Malaysia, but our race improved. In Bahrain, our qualifying and our race improved. And here in China, our qualifying and our race improved. So obviously, I would have preferred to come home in 5th position. Here is the replay of Felipe Massa getting by Daniel Ricciardo. Again, Felipe Massa on a 3-stop strategy, so he has much fresher tires than both Daniel and myself. Danny Ricciardo did pit on the same lap as me, so he's got the exact same tire life as I do. And again, just look how close Massa was coming onto this straight. Again, I really didn't defend that hard because I thought he was Bottas lapping me or something. I don't know exactly what I thought. But even if I had defended really hard, I don't think... I think he... Excuse me, I got hiccups. I think he was going to get by no matter what. That was weird. That hiccup, like, made me burp. I hope you guys didn't hear that. It was like a hic burp. Anyway. Oh, and there was my oversteer moment, which allowed Daniel Ricciardo to come at us, wheel banging a little bit there through turn 13. And as I mentioned, he had the inside line, and then he just lifted off. Very, very strange scenes here from Daniel Ricciardo in the closing stages of this race, but we came back out at him from the outside. He had the DRS, but as I mentioned, it didn't matter. Didn't matter. I just flew right by him. There he is with the DRS open. Daniel Ricciardo probably scratching his helmet right now, going, what do I have to do to get by this freaking guy? And here's what it looked like from TCAM point of view. I'll go ahead and be quiet for this part. Ooh, that oversteer is just so hard to watch. 322 kilometers per hour. That's what Daniel Ricciardo was just doing. It wouldn't go any faster than that.
What a win for Nico Rosberg today. A really strong drive from the German, and he's brought his Mercedes home in 1st place. He looked very happy with his day's work as he celebrated up there on the podium.
It was a fantastic performance and one that they should be very proud of. every part of the team pulled together to achieve today's result.
It was great having you with us for this weekend. I hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. Until next time though, goodbye.
So there we have the final race standings. In the end, 1 minute and 35 seconds behind Nico Rosberg, who finished 35 seconds up the road from Lewis Hamilton. Valtteri Bottas a further 31 seconds behind Hamilton, so pretty boring race for the top three. Sebastian Vettel, in the end, 9 seconds behind Valtteri Bottas. Pretty big gap between them as well. And then the three-stopping Felipe Massa. In fact, everyone was three-stopping, except for the Mercedes boys and myself, I believe, and also Daniel Ricciardo. Lots of three-stoppers, even some four-stoppers there, actually. Jenson Button and Nico Hülkenberg having to stop 4 times, both of them being lapped as a result of that. In the end, Jules Bianchi finishing in 15th position in a dry race, which is absolutely incredible. But yeah, there we see both Mercedes cars doing the two-stop, while both Williams cars and Sebastian Vettel all three-stopping. And honestly, I think three-stopping would have been a pretty good idea. I don't think my pace difference would have been too much, but I think I maybe could have given Massa a run for his money. I'm really not sure. In the end, we were only 6 seconds behind him, and it was a pretty big speed difference between the two cars, so maybe the two-stop was the best strategy for myself. Here we are going to take a look at the warnings. So we got 3 track limit warnings over the course of the race, 2 of those happening on lap 43. I don't remember exactly what happened that lap. But as I mentioned before, if you guys are interested in seeing all the battling that wasn't covered in this video, and it wasn't really battling so much as managing the gap, if you really want to see that, make sure you check out the full-length uncommentated race video, because there's lots of good stuff that's in that video that didn't make it into this video, mainly because this video is already an hour long. So, and that's with cutting out a lot of interesting stuff, actually. So, if you guys are interested in seeing the full race, I would encourage you to check that out. Just running through my lap times for you guys, so you can kind of see the sort of lap times that I was doing on the various stints, and you can see what laps I pit on and everything like that. I know some people are interested in this stuff, some people don't give a shit. Doing minute 44s at the end there. Those prime tires really starting to fall off at the end there, and of course, running into all of that freaking traffic. But we did finish ahead of Kimi Räikkönen, scoring twice as many points as him, actually. And we do move ahead of Jenson Button in the Drivers' Championship. We're now sitting on 14 points, just 12 points away from our teammate Kimi Räikkönen. And that is the real objective, is to beat Kimi Räikkönen. I need to know that I'm at least a little bit faster than the Legend AI. You know, I mean, you got guys like XMattyG and Alex Gillen and Noble2909 and Areva. I mean, these guys are putting in performances in their cars that are way beyond what they should be doing. And I'm really not at that point yet. But again, I did skip F1 2014. I didn't play it. It's been a long time, or it had been a long time since I played a Codemasters game at the start of this series. So I'm still kind of getting back into the groove of things, into the groove of F1 racing, and getting used to the new system and all that kind of stuff. So I expect to keep improving as this season progresses. And hopefully we'll be getting some podiums later on. I don't know about race wins, but podiums are kind of what we're aiming for. We are sitting now on 40 points, a 43-point gap to Infinity Red Bull Racing. Williams moves into second place, sitting on 89 points. Mercedes with another 1-2 finish. That's 4 out of 4 1-2 finishes. Incredible from them, and we're 28 points ahead of McLaren right now. That's going to do it for this video, though. I thank you guys for watching. I'd appreciate a like if you did like the video, and I will see you next time for the Spanish Grand Prix. Thanks for watching.